How about a road trip? I found the coolest place and I really want to take you there. Synchronicity Cities is not that far. You may have already even been there. It's that place where you are always in the right place at the right time. Admittedly, initially, my desire to visit that world was kind of unsettling. It was foreign, puzzling. There was nothing in my brain that could possibly have explained those complex constructions that seemed to appear out of thin air. They were scary and exciting at the same time. It didn't take long for me to give up that proceed with caution business. They were just so kind and creative in the ways they invited me to take a closer look. Soon, I just couldn't stop looking. It became clear that these parallel worlds had always been here. They just weren't visible to the person who I was before. Soon, my greatest delight was the feeling I felt when they popped into existence. It was like finding a way to play with the world and discovering that it likes to play back. Sometimes it's a game of cat and mouse. Other times it's like they just can't help themselves and they just hand it to you like some little kid who looks up and says, "Look, I made this just for you." It sure feels like that when it's happening. Each synchronicity became a sign, a prompt, a kind of encouragement to keep me moving to the next horizon. With each visit, I felt my world grow larger. There was more space available for me to call home. Synchronicities began to happen so often that I came up with a game just to keep it interesting. The rules were simple. Every image had to be a picture of a synchronicity, and it had to be a good photograph. To be successful, it had to capture the instant in the middle of the double take. That place where you find yourself looking into a mirror that you didn't know was there. As soon as they began to accumulate, the idea for a book and a documentary began to take shape. The pictures on each 2-page spread needed to be in sync by design, subject, or sensibility. They had to make a good couple, and they had to be able to stand on their own. A single synchronicity can be easily dismissed as mere coincidence. If you experience 2 or 202, like the number of images in the book, you start to ask yourself, how could what I'm looking at possibly be possible? I want to give the viewer of the book, the documentary, and this, my new YouTube channel, the same sense of surprise and wonder I feel when I'm in their presence. To make the challenge even more impossible, and therefore more interesting, in each 2-page spread, there had to be a number from 0 to 100, hidden or shouting somewhere in one of the 2 images. I had to have 0 to 100 instead of 1 to 100, because 0 is my favorite number, and because it embodies the very essence of synchronicity. There is nowhere it begins and nowhere it ends. It represents everything and nothing. It is the symbol of continuity and connection, as well as chaos and contradiction. The 0 is the joker, the fool. In multiple mythologies, the fool god and the creator god are the same being. They are the fool god because they don't do things the way they've always been done, and they're the creator god for exactly the same reason. I came up with these rules while driving down a road 44 years ago. Not this particular road, but another one that was similar only because the Eagles were playing on the radio and because they were singing, "Put me on a highway, show me a sign, and take it to the limit one more time." Before the song ended, I could see an arrow on an 84 lumber sign matching a cloud shaped like an arrow in the sky. With such an auspicious first find and my youthful bravado, I thought it would take no time at all to get all 101 numbers and their mates. I was this person's age when I had that thought. And I was this person's age when I got all the images 44 years later. In the first 40 years, I was able to get 50 pairs that met all the requirements. I knew at that same rate, it would take a miracle to get it done before I was dead. I was ecstatic. By this time, miracles no longer scared me. Over that same 40 years, I had become increasingly aware of their presence. Hell, I'd even seen angels walking around acting like they were one of us. I know this all may sound a bit foreign and maybe even a little crazy, and that you might think, justifiably, that I am completely full of it and lacking in sanity. Believe me, I know. You should be in my shoes. Just imagine how I felt when I discovered that I had 50 matching pairs after 40 years, and then having to deal with the fact that the next 40 pairs appeared in the next 4 years. That was really crazy. I don't think it had anything to do with the odds. I was no longer living as much by default. I had a different self-conversation going. I was saying to myself that I had some say in the way I saw the world. If I had believed in the odds, then getting the last 10 pairs was going to be damn near impossible. Not only did I have to manifest, witness, and photograph 10 more synchronicities that had a number somewhere in the picture, I had to find the specific numbers I still lacked from 0 to 100. However, once I got my rhythm, once I got in sync, it was as if they were lighting my way. I could feel them telling me that I was getting warm. That helped a lot. You know that expression, when it rains it pours? It was like that. So when I got all the final 10 numbers in a single month, I was amazed, but I didn't find it odd at all. It was the most natural thing in the world. I don't know where these things come from, or who or what has a hand in making them. All I really know is that I take great delight in watching the way they assemble themselves right in front of me. It's as if they want to have their portrait taken. These synchronicities, these rarefied, specialized, extreme versions of connection, weren't happening in isolation. I shot over 900,000 other images during that same time period. I learned a lot about life in that time. Photography certainly helped. It helped me see that how I looked at the world helped dictate the world I see. I learned the importance of making mistakes, that I don't have to wait for the golden hour to take pictures, and that it is not important to wait for everything to be absolutely perfect before feeling happy or successful. It's more important to see what is already perfect right now, right in front of my very own two eyes. To that end, I do not want to wait another minute, not another second, before I start sharing and living all the things that I learned in the process of getting every one of those 202 ridiculously outlandish pieces of an impossible puzzle. I'm not waiting anymore. I'm going to enjoy what I learned right now and from now on. So this is it. There is no button for you to click to order the beautiful hand-signed hardbound book that includes all the backstories about all 101 page spreads and how they came into being. Right now, you can't have your choice of hand-signed, numbered, limited edition prints of any single image, or as a pair on the same sheet of museum-quality archival paper. the documentary launch have not been sent out. All of that will happen, and it'll be great. I'm not going to wait to celebrate. I'd love for you to not wait and celebrate with me, right now and from now on. As you might imagine, I don't think the fact that you found yourself here is some mere coincidence. That alone, my fellow birds of a feather, is reason enough to request and appreciate your take on what I'm doing and to hear your own synchronicities, as well as any of your other good ideas, advice, or support you care to share that would help me bring this state of love, connection, and appreciation into the world. You can leave a like or a comment here or on any post on Facebook, Instagram, my website, or Patreon page. All the links are in the description, as well as the links to download free PDFs of my 2 previous books. Thank you for taking a look and listening. I've been waiting a really long time to tell you this. On my YouTube channel, I will be posting a separate video about each of the 102 page spreads and a lot more of the infinite number of ways there are to look at the world. You can start from zero by clicking on that shiny tinker that's about to disappear into another world. I'm looking forward to seeing you over there or somewhere else down the road. You're good company. My door is always open. I'll leave the light on.